Hey guys, Valkyrie here, and I'm recording the first two episodes just so I don't have to re-record them when I do every route. So these first two episodes I'm recording now will be throughout the playthroughs pretty much. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. This is a fictional interactive narrative. Any character resemblance to real life people are purely coincidental. Also, please know that the following game is for PG-16 audiences. If you're not 16, guys, you know to get off my page. Thank you. Please know that sexual violent themes are explored in this game. Trigger warnings imply abuse, implied rape, and suicide. You have been warned, guys, okay? Please enjoy. And I'm sorry about my voice. I am sick with a cold. I always seem to do videos when I have a cold.
Why, hello. My, aren't you a gorgeous sight? Can I be honored enough to know your name?
You may know my name. It is Valkyria.
A lovely name for a lovely person like you. Wonderful.
I do like how when you load up the game and you just instantly get that voice acting, and it pulls you in straight away. Michaela did a really good freaking choice on that.
Erik, do your job.
Very well. This game was produced by Seraphim Entertainment under the direction of Michaela Laws and is powered by Ren'Py Visual Novel Engine. We truly hope you'll enjoy this story. I know I'll enjoy it, since you'll be in it.
Excuse me?
Erik.
Fine. Farewell, my sweet.
Bye. Somewhere.
Come on! Is that all you got?
Wanna try me, asshole?
That was a big one.
Crap! Missed.
Let's retreat for now.
No kidding. Let's get out of here.
That's right. You better run, you stupid punks! Stay out of our territory!
Call it fate or call it coincidence. That one moment of violence started a chain of events I will never forget.
This formula, created in the 70s, is one of the most important in the field of financial theory. It is used to calculate the price of European-style options and is widely used by option marketers, though there are some discrepancies that are now corrected with the modern viewpoint.
Rain. It's been a long time since we've gotten rain around here, but it is the season for rainy weather, so it's not exactly that surprising. Personally, I love the sound of it, the way the raindrops fell like soft tapping of fingers. It was so soothing. Even looking at the droplets hit the glass of the window was strangely calming. For this reason, I felt lucky for having a seat next to the window, though I did spend more time staring outside than I did paying attention in class. The lectures in class were pretty boring. Mrs. Phillips' voice wasn't so prolific, but I just wasn't interested in what she was saying. And since it was the period right before lunch, all I could think about doing was other things in my free time. Honestly, I didn't really care much for economics. Sure, I had good grades in this class, but it was only because I read the textbook and did my assignments I had to do. I was only taking this class because it was mandatory. If it was up to me, I would probably have taken another course. Luckily, it was my senior year, so after this semester, it would mean the end of high school forever. Thank God for that. I didn't hate high school, it was just kind of mundane how the days drifted on and on as if there was no end to it. The only thing I really enjoyed about going to school was meeting up with my friends and hanging out with them, but that was kind of it. In short, I was done with high school. The start of second semester brought a note of vitality to it. I had already applied to many universities this semester prior, and I was expected to apply sometime in the next 5 months. It seemed like the start of something new, something that would change. That is, if things could change. I stared at the faint outline of raindrops in the distance. For now, I was stuck in this class.
Miss Anderson.
Mrs. Phillips's raised voice interrupted my train of thought. Just when I was thinking about class, I quickly turned my head to face the teacher. Hopefully she didn't pick me just because she noticed I was spacing out. Yes, ma'am?
Would you care to name the equation I set up on the blackboard?
Oh, I think I read about this in a textbook last night. It should be The Black Shells model formula?
Very good as always, Miss Anderson.
Anderson. It followed me wherever I went. Most people didn't really know me by my first name, but rather my surname. No doubt since the surname was the trademark of the international famous and philosophical Anderson Family Toys, and because the founder was my own grandfather. Zuzu, one of my best friends, turned around and proudly gave me a punch to the shoulder.
Kick-ass girl.
Nice, I like Zuzu. From beside me, I heard Naomi, another one of my best friends, clearing her throat in obvious disapproval of Zuzu's choice of words.
She means good job.
Miss Capini,
Oi!
care to tell me who the creators of this formula were?
Some guys named Black and Shoals. Fisher Black and Myron Shoals.
Very good, Miss Patterson.
Show off. Better study next time, Suzu. Be like us and study once in a while.
Sorry about that, guys. I had to take a phone call. Zuzu rolled her eyes and slouched in her chair as Naomi gave her a small smirk. She always pouted when Naomi showed her up.
That's the end of today's lecture. Now, let's separate into groups and work on your projects. Remember, everything is due on Monday. Go ahead now.
Before I knew it, Zuzu and Naomi had scooted their desks to align with mine. We turned into the Three Musketeers. Whenever the teacher let the students decide on groups, we always grouped together in our little trio. It was sheer stroke of luck that we all managed to be in the same class, so we had to at least take the opportunity and stick together as much as we could. Besides, we were most comfortable around each other than, say, compared to being around any other classmate. It just made sense for us to put our heads together for any kind of project. I took out the poster we were working on and rolled it onto the 3 desks. We were pretty much finished with fulfilling most of the guidelines for the project, though we still had a good few things, finishing touches here and there. After working on making the poster a bit prettier, we sat back and inspected our work to see what we still had to do. Naomi, as usual, was the first to look over any issues. She slightly tapped a pencil against her chin, staring intently at the project.
Alright, so let's see. We finished the budgeting section, the building leasing, and the cost for labor. What else do we need?
Zuzu straightened up and looked at the poster and stroked her chin. After a few seconds, her face brightened and she spoke.
How about a company name? Huh? Did we really skip over that? Of course we did. You always go straight into the logical statistics and stuff that you completely skip over the fact. We need a name for our projects. At least we caught it this time. What do we name it? Not sure. What do you think?
It always came down to me. Whenever there was something to be named or titled, I was the master of ending decisions. And even when I didn't want to be.
I like Trinity Corporations.
It's got a good ring to it.
That is way too predictable. How about the Dragon Company?
I like Dragon Company.
What do dragons have to do with our project? What? It's a totally unpredictable name. It's hot. But our company sells bubble gum. Who said we can't produce spicy bubble gum?
This is true. Spicy bubblegum is really good.
What do you think? Yeah. What do you think?
Both of them looked at me expectantly. Even though I wasn't quite sure myself, I didn't really want to choose sides, but if it was up to me, I would say... I like the Dragon Company.
Booyah! Dragon Company it is! Alright, now that we've decided on a name, now what?
As we ended our name game, a giggle scrambled my thoughts. Huh? Who is that?
Ignore it. It's just Lisette.
Oh. I looked over my shoulder to see her laughing with her circle of friends, mostly comprised of puppy people that were practically friends with everyone in the school. And as a result, everyone in the school knew them. In the centre of it all was Lisette White. She sat with a posture that indicated she was still working, but also she was ready to casually chat about her day. She had an endearing balance of charismatic and awkward, which was readily apparent when you first talked to someone. It was easy to make her smile and laugh, and she was quite the comedian as well. Basically, she was perfect. Not that she was like a robot or something, but that'd be cool, but she was the student that everybody else wanted to be. Lisette was bright, easygoing, and above all, had her future laid out right in front of her. Unlike the average student, she knew what she wanted to do after high school, and as a result, she was confident and ambitious, though sometimes it could rub off a lot of people in the wrong way. Moreover, I had known her ever since I was young, but it had ultimately resulted in a rivalry that even continued today. Of course, my friends knew what was between us, and upon seeing me glance at her, they shifted their attention to her.
She doesn't even look like she's working, in my opinion.
She probably is, but she's too much of a stuck-up priss to allow herself to look like she's actually doing work.
Oh, come on, Suzu. She may be a little off-putting, but she's not the giant priss that you're making her seem to be.
The day she isn't a priss is the day I turn into you.
Ooh, burn!
What's that supposed to mean?
Never mind. It's about time. Let's bail.
Unsurprisingly, Zuzu was the first out of the classroom, slinging her backpack over her shoulder with ease as she quickly strolled out the door.
Her seat isn't even closest to the exit, and she always manages to be the first one out of the door. I don't think I'll ever understand that.
I wish I was that fast of getting out of her. Naomi folded her arms close to her chest, giving me a disappointed look.
Oh, not you, too. She's turning you into a delinquent.
Hey! Maybe I was a delinquent beforehand. You never know. It's a joke, Naomi. Chill.
Well, it's not really funny.
I found it funny.
Man, you guys are slow. Are you coming or what?
We heard you the first time. Not everyone has rocket boosters attached to their legs when the bell rings.
Are you kidding
That
me?
sounds cool.
That class was ridiculously boring. Even Miss Valedictorian here was dozing off a bit.
I do have to admit I was spacing out. And just because I answered one question doesn't mean I'm automatically the valedictorian.
Okay, so it wasn't too interesting.
Yeah,
But you should
she's
at
on our
least
side.
pay attention when Phillips is talking about the important parts.
So you finally admit it. We're finally on the same wavelength. Welcome to the club, Patterson.
Please, don't call me by my last name. This isn't the classroom. And never in a million years will we ever see things eye to eye.
Despite this, they both burst out in laughing. Normally anyone would think that opposites like them wouldn't ever associate with each other, but even though they were so different, their friendship somehow made a lot of sense. Maybe they were just perfect complements, or personality just didn't dictate the possibility of their friendship. After all, we three had been best friends since preschool.
All right, so where are we heading to first? Cafeteria? I think we can all agree that we're really hungry, especially after hearing about our company's line of deliciously spicy bubblegum.
Who would even buy that? I wonder.
I would.
Me? I would pay good money to get a taste of it.
You do like your spicy food after all. We entered the cafeteria, a bustling room filled with the aromas of different kinds of food. As we got in line, we ordered our meals and chatted freely.
Cajun fries and the spicy chicken burger for me. That's my definition of a good meal.
I'll take a tuna sandwich and some juice. You're probably going to need water or
Aw,
something
she's
to curb all
caring.
that spicy flavor, Suzu.
I can't be tamed by the likes of that. If it's spicy, then it's gotta be all or nothing.
You're crazy.
Crazy bitch.
Hell yeah, I'm crazy.
I think I'm getting a migraine.
I think I'll go with Cajun fries. I might as well go spicy today. Once we got our food, we settled down at one of the empty tables, putting our backpacks aside to finally dig into our food. Zuzu leaned back in her chair, tilting it back so that she could rest her feet on the table by her food.
All right, then. Is there anything we want to talk about?
Bored already?
I know. Let's talk about...
Say boys, I
Say
swear.
boys, and I will never speak to you ever again.
Aw, why not?
What's so interesting about talking about guys? It's not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime soon.
We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend?
Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde.
Hey!
Sorry, my neighbour's just coming up, just seeing if she's alright. She got a little puppy.
No offense. And Anderson here. Well, I guess she could land a boyfriend or girlfriend if she wants.
Or girlfriend?
Oh, girlfriend.
She can be a lesbian if she wants.
True.
That's okay, Zuzu. I'm not sure I want a boyfriend yet.
Why not? It's our senior year. Might as well get a boyfriend.
Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship, Suzu.
Well, it really wasn't about wanting a relationship, but more about there was no one interesting enough to be in a relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I was an open person, but there was not many interesting guys in the school to go out with. Who knows? Time will tell. Naomi looked at me, wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafeteria started up, and an announcement echoed through the cafeteria.
Miss Anderson, please come to the main office immediately. Please bring your things with you.
Oh my.
Well, shit.
Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have finally come to get you.
Suzu, don't joke around. What if it's serious?
Fine. If something happens, just call us.
Cool. Funny enough, something did happen. And it was certainly no laughing matter. Cold. It was really cold. The rain became heavier that afternoon, accompanied by rolling thunder now and then. The skies had turned dark, though I couldn't see any of it underneath the black umbrella. Not that I was looking up. In fact, looking up was the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. I stared at the grass beneath my feet, unable to look up at the people weeping around me. All I could see was the damp grass underneath my feet. Only the monotone eulogs. Epilogues. I'ma just say eulogies. That floated through my ears reminded me that I was at a funeral. It was only when the speeches ended that I finally was able to raise my head. A small gathering of people, mostly made of relatives that I didn't even know were related to me, were huddled around a simple, small grave. For a while, all I heard was the sound of raindrops on umbrellas. If it weren't raining, everything would probably be in a heavy silence. I looked beside me where my father was standing and holding up a large umbrella for our small family of three. His face was emotionless, a strange sight next to my weeping mother. I wondered what was going through his mind. After all, etched into the smooth grey tombstone before us was his father's name. My grandfather, the one who raised me like his own daughter, had passed away that day. The ceremony was small, only close family were allowed to come. Slowly though, people began to leave, leaving my father, mother and me behind at the grave. A man dressed in a clean black suit under the uniform umbrella of the funeral attendees walked towards us, introducing himself as my grandfather's lawyer. He pulled out a few documents from his suitcase and began to read aloud its contents.
And now, I shall read Harold Anderson's last will and testament.
Only my parents and I was allowed to be present for my grandfather's will. It was under strict request of his lawyer, and there was a reason why.
And to my dearest granddaughter, I give my estate. All the furniture and decor that resides within the house shall also be given to my granddaughter.
What? I couldn't believe my ears. I had owned the family estate at 18. That was impossible, and yet it was written in my own grandfather's hand.
He passed the family estate to her? Why am I not surprised?
Dear.
I don't like you.
Well, did he say anything about what will become of the CEO and chairman position of the Anderson Toys Company?
No. It is presumed that the vice chairman will succeed the position.
I dropped something. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Even to the bitter end, he wouldn't give in. Oh, what a stubborn old man.
Wow. Shaking his head, my father turned to face my mother with a serious expression on his face.
About the estate. Should we send her there to get used to the building? It'll be a good place for her to live after high school.
Are you sure we should?
Why not? This would be a good experience.
Honey, what do you think?
I don't think I really have a choice in the matter, do I? I really wasn't sure what to say. Why did my grandfather think I was the one? Why did my grandfather think that I was the one appropriate heir for the mansion? Was I even ready to live on my own?
Well, that seems to be it. We'll be taking our leave now. I'm sure the little heiress needs some time to adjust.
David!
Even though she raised her voice, my dad wordlessly began walking back to the car, disinterested.
Don't mind him, honey. I think that your grandfather's passing really affected him. Why don't we get back home for now?
You can go ahead to the car, Mum. I think I need some time alone with Grandpa.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need.
Thanks. She gave me a quick hug and hurried after my dad. I looked around the funeral grounds, which was completely empty save for the subtle-looking grave that was laid in front of me. I'm sure that if Grandpa was in charge of arranging all this, it would have been much different. It was blatantly obvious that my dad was in charge of the whole event. Who else would bury their own family the same day they passed away? Everyone knew my grandfather's love for toys, and yet the grave was a mere stone slab on the ground, void of any children's toys. My dad didn't even bother for a plate of flowers. His disdain for my grandfather was almost pitiful. Sorry, Grandpa. I tried to force some words out, but the only thing that came out was a choke sob. You told me to stay strong, but right now, I'm the farthest from it. I had that one time, a long time ago. Grandpa!
Oh, it's so good to see you again, sweetie.
I was swept into a giant bear hug and we both laughed as he swung me around like an airplane. It was one of my favourite things about seeing my grandfather, the way he greeted me. Unlike my father, my grandfather was loving and playful even as I grew older. Sorry that Daddy couldn't be here today. He said that he wasn't feeling too good again. It had always been like that. Dad missed every visit to Grandpa's house, citing that he was busy with work or wasn't feeling very well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Done. And you're here, right?
Yeah. So, what are we doing today, Grandpa? Mommy says that there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Maybe we could go?
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days. We're actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
Yes. Oh, is that a toy?
It is. I was designing a new line of them. But I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
Of course. He placed the toy in my hands with a smile, and I inspected it carefully. It was beautifully... Beautifully? What the fuck is beautifully? It was beautifully crafted, and obviously a lot of work was put into it. There was one thing, though.
So, what do you think?
I think the heart on its chest should light up when you hug it. It'd be like it's alive, and it could be like a little nightlight before you sleep. He stroked his chin, considering my input while nodding his head. After a few moments of silent deliberation, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea! I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear. You always know what to add to make the perfect toy.
Well, I hope I can be like you one day, Grandpa.
You want to make toys as well?
Well, making people happy is the best feeling in the world. I don't know if I want to make toys when I grow up, though.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
That makes sense. Daddy doesn't think the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
I'm not so sure about that.
Sweetie, look at me.
He bent down to look at me eye level, with a serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And you need to love him just as equally.
I don't hate Daddy. I really do love him. I don't know why he's like this, though.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past. But it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
I had heard tidbits of this from my mother and various other people. The only people who stayed quiet was my father and my grandfather. Both of them refrained from saying a word on the subject matter. But it was clear that whatever happened set up a wall between them. It's hard, though, trying to pretend as if nothing was wrong.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong. You're a big girl already, and, well, There'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world. But always remember that your family and friends will be here with you. Daddy, Mommy, your friends at school, me. We'll stand together to get through it.
How can you be so sure of that?
Because we'll be right here and here.
He pointed his finger to my head first and then pointed at my chest.
So stay strong. Promise?
For a moment he looked almost sad, pleading, but as quickly as it come, the expression disappeared from his face, and he was all smiles once again. Promise. Upon hearing that, Grandpa let out a great burst of laughter and stood up.
All right then. Enough of that. How about I whip up some special homemade dessert?
Ooh.
I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork.
Homemade dessert? I'll race you to the kitchen.
Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
You will be the very home I love to see you in. Why? Why would you think I'd be ready to take it, especially after this? A surge of anger bubbled within me, but I quickly swallowed it. There was no use in getting mad, especially when the person in question was no longer there. I'm sorry. It's hard to stay calm when you've left me with so many questions. Especially about what happened between you and Dad. What am I doing? Talking to a grave? My vision blurred, and I suddenly realized that I was crying. My face heated up as tears rolled down my cheeks. I'll bring you some flowers later. I miss you, Grandpa. I'll try my best to fulfill my promise I gave to you, even if the world might be turned against me. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily as my parents wouldn't see.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna when we get home, okay?
Ooh, lasagna. Thanks, Mom. However, my dad didn't speak the entire drive home. I wanted to talk to him, but after his moment at the funeral, I wasn't sure if it was a good idea.
It's about time we took off those dreary black clothes.
Gathering my courage, I decided that it was time to talk. Dad, could I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Why do you want me to move into the estate so soon?
I thought I made that rather clear. The college near your grandfather's house is well known for its business program. You are planning to major in business, yes? Right after you graduate from high school, you'll just live there and can easily commute to and from school. It's a perfect fit for you.
Uh-huh. But it's so sudden. You just decided so quickly right after the funeral.
Don't be so sensitive. If you're like that in the real world, you'll be crushed.
I'm just saying that maybe we could talk a bit more about my future. In reply, my father rubbed his temples and sighed quietly.
After you graduate from college, you'll work at Anderson Family Toys. I have connections since I am part of the board of directors, so you will be guaranteed a spot. That is what we talked about before, yes?
But what if...
Stop mumbling!
What if I don't want to work there?
Don't be silly. It's the family company. Our company. I'm not just going to hand it over to some incompetent vice chairman.
He came close to me and his face softened.
Look, this is all for the best, okay? You may not know it right now, but you will appreciate it later.
For some reason, when I heard him say that, something snapped in me. I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it made me feel so angry. Do you even care that Grandfather passed away?
Of course I do.
Well, everything seems fine and dandy to you. Things could be better.
Excuse me? I don't like your tone, young lady.
It's like nothing even happened at all, like you just ignore the fact that he's no longer here.
Do not raise your voice at me.
Bitch, I'm not raising my voice at you. There's people asleep in my house. What did he ever do to you to deserve this? My father, his face hardened, crossed his arms and uttered an angry laughter.
Ha! You sure place him upon a pedestal, like he's some kind of venerated god or something. It makes me sick.
Is that it? Are you happy seeing Grandfather dead? While everyone was grieving, were you holding yourself back from laughing in everyone's faces? Did you just feel a little bit happier seeing him lie in the graveyard? Ouch, the bitch slapped me. A flash of rage crashed his face, and he whipped the back of his hand across my cheek.
You don't know anything! Running your mouth like somehow you know everything that went on, when you're just a little girl that doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut! You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
Is everything all right?
Look at the face of
what
the
happened?
mother. Nothing. I'm not hungry. I think I'll just go upstairs.
Honey, wait!
I quickly turned and ran upstairs to my room. Slamming the door behind me, my breath came in short pants, and for a while I just leant there against the door to my bedroom, eventually sliding down it to sit against it. How did things become like this? My cheek still throbbed, and I tentatively stood up and looked in the mirror to see how it looked. Hopefully it doesn't bruise. What am I saying? Tears formed in the corner of my eyes, but I blinked them back rapidly. I couldn't cry for the second time today. I had to be stronger than that.
Are you all right? Your father told me nothing happened, but
Of
you
course
know
he
your
did.
father.
I'm fine. I just lost my appetite is all.
The lasagna's done, though, and I don't want you skipping any meals. Are you sure?
Yeah, don't worry about me, Mom. I'll come downstairs later to eat.
You're not telling me the whole story.
I just don't want to eat right now.
Please, dear. Tell me what's going on. I
My-
wish you would tell me why you're being like this.
Dad slapped me. I wanted to tell her. A part of me was screaming to tell her what Dad had done. At the same time, I knew she couldn't fix anything. Besides, I was moving out regardless. I remained silent, letting the event remain in the past.
Well, I'll leave your food on the table if you want to eat it later.
Finally, my mom left me alone. It was strange to think that she was only a few inches away from me, only separated by a single wooden door. I really didn't know what to do. I needed to do something, anything to get my mind off what just happened. Anything would be better than thinking any more about the pain still radiating from my cheek. I was going to move into my grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I'd be prepared. Yeah, that was a good idea. I should start packing. I opened the closet, rummaging around for a while before I finally found 2 large bags. Pulling them out onto the floor of my room, I then began to empty my drawers and cabinets so that I could bring all my things with me. I didn't have much to bring other than just some clothes and some toiletries. It was kind of bizarre that I didn't have many personal belongings. It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoid of them, but I certainly didn't have many things in my room that I would miss, or if I just suddenly left the house. I shook my head to rid myself of those thoughts. If it was going to be my new home, it would have to feel like one way or another. I was going to make it home.
You turn the tables on me now, you trap me in your cage somehow. I can never escape from you, but baby, that's alright.
Just as I was packing my things, my cell phone began ringing and vibrating in my pocket. I slipped my phone out of my pocket and answered it while slowly easing myself onto the bed. Who could possibly be calling?
Hey, Anderson, you there? Is everything all right? We were worried about you, so we decided to call. Hello?
I'm really glad you guys called. My voice managed to come out, though if only a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, I slowly began to tell them about the funeral that afternoon. A small silence followed when I was done recounting what happened, and to my relief, Naomi finally spoke up.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood, so could we just keep talking on the phone like this?
Of course! We'd stay on the phone until the crack of dawn. Right, Suzu? Yeah. We're always here if you need us.
No.
After all,
We wouldn't be the
Sounds
awesome
like my
triple
mates.
threat trio without you, right?
Yeah.
Triple threat trio? That sounds like the name of a gang.
Yeah, I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously.
What's with you and naming things?
You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Falling behind to the cool kids like Anderson and me. Tisk, tisk.
Hey! I'm a cool kid. If anything, I'd say you'd have to step up your game.
We chatted cheerfully about all sorts of things. Very soon I had forgotten about the events of that day and was engaged in conversation about Naomi's favourite TV show, some program called Herlock. We all agreed that the actor playing the tutorial character certainly had a very distinct look about him, with that long overcoat and scarf wrapped around his neck. We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Yeah, he has really high cheekbones. His eyes are pretty too. Though I do have to say I preferred Jackson. And as a bonus, his actor is just so sassy. I looked at the clock hanging on the wall and realised how late it was. Whoa! It's already 1 a.m. Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. I think I'm gonna hit the hay for tonight. See you guys tomorrow at school. I should probably shower and go to bed. Can't believe I stayed up this late just to talk to my friends. I stay up like 4 o'clock in the morning talking to mine, so I can't say fuck all. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. I took a relaxing shower and nothing beat the hot water and the feeling of being clean. After drying myself, I promptly dressed myself in my pyjamas and crawled into bed. A nice hot shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. I was like that when I come back from freaking holiday. I just got into bed and went, bed. It had been a really long day. I knew that I wasn't wishing for something to change back in class, but I certainly wasn't expecting any of these to happen today. And I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh. I curled up on the side and tightly wrapped the blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood to be returning to school, but my dad probably would make me go just for the sake of it. It's time to go to sleep. I reached out to my lamp and my nightstand to turn off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and the thought of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. I shook my head, trying to clear the sleepiness out of me, to no avail. I really didn't get any sleep that night. It's already time to wake up. Wait, school. As soon as I realised I had to go to school, I slid out of bed and looked at the vanity mirror. Phew, that's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You had to squint to actually see it. I doubt anyone would actually notice it unless they leaned in really close. Breathing out a soft sigh, I got dressed and took my backpack and caught the bus to school. You just heard my phone vibrate. Fuck's sake! It wasn't even hours before anyone heard the news. I was approached in school and given condolences for my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself? Lucky as hell, man! Quit being so sensitive, Naomi.
Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
It is kind of pretty.
Of course you would side with her.
Ha! See? At least she knows how to have fun.
I know how to have fun. You don't need to be wild to have fun.
Guys, I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
I know, but my parents want me to try living there as soon as possible.
Still, that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
Of course. Well, even in the comfort of my best friends, life seemed to keep testing me. Oof.
Hey! Don't go around shoving people like that. Whoops. Did I strike a nerve, Capini?
She let out a small laugh as if she twirled her hair around her finger. Lysette, one of the last people I wanted to see today.
It's not me you should be apologizing to. Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lizette?
Of what?
Her grandfather's passing.
Ah, well, I'm sorry about that. I don't really watch a lot of news.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why wouldn't I?
Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back right this moment.
I had nearly forgotten about the crowd that followed Lisette, which was mostly comprised of people that no one wanted to see on a typical school day. No one had the slightest idea why they exactly followed Lisette around persistently, but they labeled themselves as social equals with her.
That is out of line. Suzu comes from an honest family.
Says the one whose family profits from political scandals.
Yeah, your dad doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Fuck. Well, they pissed my friends off.
Hey, let's all calm down for a second, alright? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate.
Yes.
I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect.
No, you don't get... No. No. Just stop. Stop acting like that already, like you feel fucking sorry for me.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. You already have everything you wanted, and now seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Bitterness seeped into me, and the words started flying out of my mouth without filter. But honestly, I didn't care. I was so consumed by anger that I only saw Lisette in front of me. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I'm sick of it, Lisette. I'm sick of all these charades, and I'm sick of you. Gasps rose from the crowd around her, and I was brought back to the school hallway. Even my friends beside me looked at me in surprise. One girl looked like she was going to speak up, but Lisette held her hand up to stop her. There was an emotion in her face that I couldn't quite make out, but I could see a form of pity in her eyes. No. Don't you dare pity me. I looked away from her. I didn't want to see that emotion in her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't have the right to look at me that way.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
She stepped towards me and put her hand on my shoulder, giving me a tiny smile as if for old time's sake. But for some reason, I didn't feel comfortable at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but the expression on her face was, when she leaned in close to me, contorted into something complex. Something was different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but something about her had definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
Something about Lisette made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't just angry, but I was also uneasy. What was it? I'd never seen her like that before. But I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with her gaggle of friends behind her. I refocused my attention to Mrs. Phillips, who was walking down the hall towards me.
Is everything all right, girls?
Nothing we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs.
Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, Mrs. Phillips.
Your grandfather was a good man. He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
I know, he was amazing. I really looked up to him and I want to be as good as him. He was.
Well, I know that you'll be as great as your grandfather.
Hell yeah, she will. She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Would I really be better than my grandfather? Everyone seemed to have high expectations for me. I wanted to do my best and make my family proud, but to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't sure about that. From outside the school window, I saw a familiar blue car pull up to the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, my ride's here. Well, I guess I'll see you both tomorrow?
Want us to come with you?
Oh, no, it's fine. I'll be fine. See you. Hey, Dad.
Hey, honey.
As I got into the car, I noticed my father looked troubled, clutching at his steering wheel as it stared straight ahead, as if something was really bothering him.
About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Does your cheek still hurt?
Nah, it's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you. You know that you're my most precious daughter. You're all that I have.
Yet he couldn't bring himself to say what he could never say to me for such a long time. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now he couldn't say it to me. I turned my head to look out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. And like that, he started to drive, and the conversation between us ended. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to Grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district, but it was still pretty far from the school, and where our house was. He had always lived alone. He insisted on doing things by himself, even at the age of living in such a large house. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? It sounded so lonely and sad. It was strange that he decided living on his own in a large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us, though he and my father would have given each other the silent treatment the entire time. Maybe living alone was preferable to that. I actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visits to his house were most frequent when I was a child, and I had grown up long since then. The last time I visited, though, I thought he looked just as he usually was, happy and healthy. But things change. In the back of my mind, I knew that he would have to leave one day. It wasn't like humans could live forever. So, why did my heart still feel heavy? The car ride was mostly spent in silence until he spoke up again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
Yeah, I've been trying my best so far.
Trying? That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
I don't know this guy. With my father, only some words I said were filtered through his ears. It was difficult to keep a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if it was something loosely based on it. He always found a way to integrate it to wherever we talked.
Anyway, your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent now.
Yes, I can manage on my own. The usual silence resumed between us. I really wasn't sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't share the same opinions. One question did linger in my mind, though. If he was going to justify acting so nonchalant at Grandfather's funeral, I had the right to at least know why. Try again, bitch. Hey, Dad. About you and Grandpa?
We are not talking about this.
I feel like we should be, because Grandpa did leave us yesterday, so...
I wouldn't care if he had left even long before that. I do not want to hear it, and that is the end of this conversation.
As always, he managed to shut down any form of conversation related to him. It was just like what happened last night. I opened my mouth slightly, but I closed it again. It was like talking to a brick wall. It wasn't like I could just find anything out by somehow arguing my way through it. Alright then. I leaned against the car door and stared out of the window. I really couldn't think. What would this place be like? I had been to my grandfather's house before, but it was one thing visiting and it's another thing actually living there. How would I manage living on my own without any training to really care for a house? I knew that naturally the bills would be paid by my parents, who inherited grandfather's stocks to the corporation, but I had never lived independently before. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I was technically an adult, I felt unprepared and a bit daunted at the prospect of actually moving into a new place. Most people my age would be ecstatic moving out. After all, it would symbolize some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But I felt like it was nothing of the sort. I really hoped I wouldn't let my parents down. I wouldn't want to let my grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds in the sky. If you're out there, Grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you'd want to tell me at this moment? And of course, no answer. What was I doing, searching for an answer in the heaven that may or not exist? I ducked my head to stare at the blur of trees and cars from the car window. My head was definitely going into the clouds there at that moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home. The car rolled up to a stop and I drifted out of my thoughts.
Here we are. Go on in.
Alright, tell Mom I love her.
All right.
I love you, Dad. No, make sure to come home and visit us often. No, I'm going to miss you lots. Nothing other than a blank stare? I paused a bit before reaching for the car door handle, waiting for any form of goodbye, but he didn't speak again. I sighed and exited the car, hearing my dad pop open the trunk. I saw 2 large bags that I had packed last night that were large enough to carry on only the things I needed. I took them out, placed one bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. He then drove off, leaving me alone in front of the mansion. I watched the blue car fade from into the distance and the road before going to see my new home. There it is. It's huge. It's huge. My grandfather gave me this. It's hard to believe. The house was framed by a set of tall gates, and I hesitantly pushed them open to take in the entire estate. The house still looked like it was when I visited him. At a glance it seems like some kind of intimidating with its size, though if I came closer it was clear that there was no more than to there. The brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lovely flowers, giving it a homely, welcoming look. But in contrast to the tall doors in the house, gave me a feeling of grandeur. Who knew what was waiting for me? But I wouldn't back down at this moment in time, so I took out the key of the front doors and unlocked them. Well, might as well make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyways. And that's when I saw them. I'm gonna stop this one here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Next episode is when I'll be doing the whole picking of roots. So, yeah. I've already done Matthew's route, as you know, it's on my YouTube channel. So the next routes that should be is Eric's, James's, Damien's, Sam's, and then Diana. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this random fucking thing. I'm sorry that it's took me this long to upload again, with all the shit that's been going on recently. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, my darlings. And I will see you in the next video. Johnny.